What is going on, YouTube? It's definitely Nick here, coming back at you after so many failures trying to film so many different videos. That's why it's taking me so long. I have had so many failures of filming, and I've been so down on filming anything lately because I've just sucked, and everything has been gone awry and wrong. It sucks. But I'm coming at you today with my top 10 albums of 2016 because, 2016 is over now. It's January 1st. I don't have a watch on, but it's January 1st, 2017 now. But we're gonna backtrack a little bit because 2016 was an amazing year for music. I loved it so much. I keep a list of all my favorite albums of the year, and 2016 was by far the longest because there were just so many good albums. Just so many. This list isn't really gonna comprise of mainstream artists. It may disappoint you because I won't have all those artists that like mostly other top 10 albums of 2016 will have, but these artists are kind of underrated, and I really like these artists. These artists deserve to be in top 10 albums of 2016. They put a lot of hard work into these albums, and I can really tell. But hopefully you enjoy the list, you recognize a few albums on here, and maybe you can go check out some of these albums. So number 10 here, we've got a person that just pumps out good album after good album and just keeps on going. I don't know how he does it. I don't know why he does it. I'm just kidding, I do. So number 10 here, we've got Starboy by The Weeknd. Okay, this album was just weird. It was very groovy and very dancey, but The Weeknd, with his music, he's got that really mysterious underlying vibe, because this wasn't just full blown out like dance. Like, it was just like creepy, like groovy, like mysterious. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how most of his music sounds, and this album showcased that perfectly. I think it was very good. Towards the end, it kind of got a little like meh, like I wasn't really liking the tracks, but I think the album starts off very strong, very powerful, and from then on it gets really good. And some standout tracks for me would be Secrets and I Feel It Coming. At number 9 here, we've got an artist that kind of came back from the dead. He hadn't come out with music in so long, and he came back, and he came back good as ever. Number 9 here is 22 A Million by Bon Iver. So Bon Iver's music is very kind of depressing, but like not in the horrible way. Like it kind of makes you feel down, but then it kind of makes you feel good because this music is so good, but it's so saddening. But it's good music. Like, it's authentic, good music. He kind of goes in a weird direction with this album where he just kind of makes these weird sounds, like weird staticky sounds sometimes, and just it sounds kind of weird. But it was just an amazing return from Bon Iver. Some standout tracks for me on this album would be 33 God and 666 with the little arrow. I don't know. And those tracks also have like weird titles to them, but there's 33 God and 666 with the little arrow pointing down. So number 8 here is a very multi-talented artist. I cannot believe how good he is. He goes from rapping to singing to acting to writing to doing comedy acts. Like, are you kidding me? You should already know who it is from what I just said. Number 8 here is Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino. So this album was just completely different from music you hear nowadays. It was so creepy, and it sounded like it wasn't even from this generation of music. Like, it sounded like super throwback, and it was so good. It was so groovy and so creepy, and in that way, it's good. A lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people said it was very overrated because it was Childish Gambino, but they also just didn't like it because he doesn't rap like he used to, but it's still such good music. I was dancing so much, and I was loving this album. Some standout tracks for me would be California and Redbone. California is a very, very funny and fun song. I love singing along to that one. So number 7 here is another artist that kind of came back from the dead, wasn't doing much, and then just came out of nowhere with an album. He's made very good music before. His albums are very well respected. And number 7 here is Junk by M83. M83 is a very, very, very good artist. He makes music that is completely out of this world. And this album was another representation of that. Like, it doesn't even sound real. And this album actually took a lot to grow on me because when I first listened to it, I was like, what is this? I only liked like maybe 2 tracks on it when I first listened through, and I was like, what? what is this M83? This isn't M83. What is this? And so I dismissed it, and then I came back and I was like, no, this is M83. There's no way this album is that bad, really. And I kept seeing a lot of tweets like, oh, Junk's so good. You gotta listen to Junk. And I was like, I did listen to it. It disappointed me. And I was like, okay, I'll give it another try. And I kept giving it another try, and I realized that this album is golden. This album has so many good tracks, and in that way, it's very different from what you're gonna hear usually, but it's still so good. Some standout tracks for me would be Go and The Wizard. Those songs are very good. Go is very fun, and The Wizard is an instrumental that's just very powerful, kind of. So number 6 here is a band that I just recently saw, actually, and they're very good. Their first album was very good, and then the second album actually lived up to the first album. Number 6 here is Disappear Here by Bad Sons. So again, this was their second album, and it's a great sophomore album. It's usually very hard for artists to live up to their first album, and I think Bad Sons really did that. I think they perfectly paced the album to where it's like, it's very fun, and then they'll slow it down a little bit, and then it'll pick it back up, and I like albums that do that, kind of giving you some breathing room. And this is very fun. I really enjoyed listening to this album, and I really enjoyed listening to it over and over again. Some standout tracks for me would be Heartbreaker and Daft, Pretty Boys. So number 5 here is a very, very, very underrated artist, but he's kind of gaining some popularity here. I've been seeing a lot of his tracks like gaining a lot of popularity, basically, like being in the top 10 songs on iTunes and stuff. So number 5 here is The Human Condition by Jon Bellion. Okay, Jon Bellion, I don't even know how to describe this guy. He's also very multi-talented. He can do a lot of stuff. And he perfectly blends pop and hip-hop so well in this album. I mean, he'll be rapping on one song and then he'll be singing. And I mean, I'll admit some of these tracks are very cheesy, like 80s films. But other than that, this album's really good. Like, it's very good feeling. This album will make you feel good. And he actually questions a lot of stuff, and his lyrics are really good, except for like some of those cheesy tracks. And it's just cheesy tracks, little love anthems, whatever. But they're still good. This guy deserves more popularity. He puts a lot of work. I've seen a video of him making one of his songs, and he puts a lot of work into it, and he puts a lot of soul into it. And he's really passionate about his music. Some standout tracks for me would be Hand of God, which is the outro song of the album, and it kind of blends in all of the previous songs together, and it sounds so good. And Guillotine has a beautiful beat, and it's so good. I love that song. So number 4 here, we've got an artist that's also very kind of underrated, kind of getting some popularity. You know, they've been touring with a lot of people and getting some popularity. Number 4 here is Conscious by Broods. They don't get enough credit. I mean, it's a brother-sister combination. Their first album was kind of slow, kind of with a few dancey tracks. But with this album, they came back and they wanted to make more upbeat music, and they did that. And I really think they pulled it off, and it pays off because this album was good. And it's another album that really paces everything very well. And it'll be upbeat, and then they'll slow it down, give you some breathing room, and then they'll be upbeat again. I think every song is very intricately designed, like the way that everything sounds, and there's definitely a lot of pop in there, but that's still good. Some standout tracks for me would be Worth the Fight, which is a very slow song, but so good, and Full Blown Love, which is a very upbeat, dancey song. So we're getting into the top 3 here, and the top 3 albums of 2016 are all very good. So number 3 here, we've got The Altar by Banks. There's no way I couldn't put this into the top 3. She came back strong with this album. I mean, her music in this album is very dark, but it's also like kind of anthemy. Like, it sounds like an anthem because how powerful and passionate she's singing. It's so good. Like, you can yell these lyrics and it sounds so good. And every instrument sounds good. There's not even really a downside to this album. Like, there's no breathing room. And that's okay because every song is so good. Like, you can just keep singing and you can just like keep going along. Like, she had created a lot of memorable lyrics for this album. Like, Some standout tracks for me would be Lovesick and Gemini feed. Those songs are so good. Lovesick being one of my favorites. I actually featured it in one of my other videos. So number 2 here is a very underrated artist, but an artist that I really fell in love with. I mean, completely in love with. I mean, I think they're my number 2 favorite artist besides my number 1, who some people should know who my number 1 is. But number 2 here, we've got Don't You by Wet. This album came out pretty soon. I think in like 2 weeks. It's going to be a year since this album came out. But this album is so beautiful. I mean, it's a heartbreak album, but it's so beautiful and emotional. It's not going to make you sad, but it's going to make you emotional. Like, everything sounds so passionate and beautiful. The singer, Kelly, she has one of the best voices I've ever heard. And the name of their band really goes along with her voice. Her voice sounds like water, and it's so soothing and chilling. And I can't describe this album any more than that, because this album was so good. You're not going to find a lot of dancey type songs in there, but at the same time, you don't need dancey type songs. Some standout tracks for me would be All the Ways and Islands, just both very emotional songs. All the Ways is kind of upbeat, but still, I just can't even believe it, how emotional this band is. I love them so much. So number 1 here, you should already know. If you really know me, if you know what I'm wearing right now, you should already know. Number 1 here is I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful, Yet So Unaware of It by the 1975. There was just no way. This isn't even a biased opinion putting them at number 1. This is straight, this album was amazing. I mean, I've heard it from so many reviewers. This album is good. Every song is so good, I can't get enough of it. I haven't stopped listening to this album since it came out. I listen to it at least once a day. I have bought so many merchandise from this band, and they truly deserve it. Everything is so beautiful and emotional and artistic and amazing. They put so many artistic things in everything they do. Songs, lyrics, instruments, live performances, music videos. Everything is an art to them, and they want to get an emotional feeling out of the listeners, and they do that with this album. Some standout tracks for me would be every song. Like, I'm not even joking. If you haven't listened to this album, you have to. This is the highlight of 2016, right here with music. They blend in so many different genres of music, and they're changing it up. There's no way to describe what genre this band is in because they do so many different things. But really, if I had to pick songs, some standout tracks, I would say Somebody Else, This Must Be My Dream, and A Change of Heart. But I love every song. There's no way about it. Like, the pacing is very good. I've been talking about that a lot, the pacing. But the pacing in this album is something I've never seen it before in any other album besides their first album. They'll give you a lot of songs that are you can sing along to it, you can dance to it, but then they'll give you a lot of breathing room, and they'll make you feel like, whoa, this is beautiful. Like, it's truly it'll paint you a picture in your head from just listening to the song, and I think that's amazing. So I really think if you have not listened to this album, you really have to. That was my highlight of 2016. That was my number 1 album of 2016. No biased opinion right there. I had to put them at number 1. There was no way. This album was too good. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list of top 10 albums of 2016. It was very difficult to put together. Besides the number 1, I already knew what my number 1 is. So I hope you recognize some of these albums. I hope, at least if you hadn't, you would go look them up. You know, like, oh, hey, I missed this album in 2016. He says it's really good. Go check it out. And also, give me your top 10 list in the comment section below. I really enjoy that. Maybe check some albums that I haven't heard yet. I'm gonna link everything down below. I've actually got an Apple Music playlist that I created of all my favorite albums of 2016. So not only this top 10, but more albums. I'll link that down below. I'll link my regular Apple Music playlist, everything down below. Twitter, Instagram, you know, all the regular stuff. Like and subscribe for more. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you. I'm dying. I need water. Hold on. Ah.